That reminds me actually very specifically of the Spirit Vehicle year. Did you all hear about the Spirit Vehicle?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the first year vehicle stickers were required, and then you had to have them on your vehicle. A group of a dozen 15 people in a line with like their hands on the shoulders of the people in front of them. So they're standing on the plyo and they're with their feet
in traffic.
In the lanes.
In the lanes.
And the first person has a pair of glasses on with the vehicle stickers stuck to the glasses.
Stuck to his left lens.
And they say, we are a Spirit vehicle. You have to let us go through.
We don't need tickets. We just have the vehicle pass because we're all one Spirit vehicle.
We're one Spirit vehicle. So we have exactly the ticket that we need.
Adorable.
It remains it remains an in-gate joke.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like the best thing you could encounter in the lanes.
It airs on the.
It was memorable.
Yeah.
How did they get there?
They all got out of their hippie bus 4 cars back.
I don't know.
Left the driver driving hippie bus to follow them through.
Did the driver have a ticket?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Didn't matter. He had to take all 15 of them back to Reno.
Yeah.
Of course he did.
They were really trying to get in.
They were really trying to get in.
They weren't just like having a go.
They weren't fucking with us.
No.
They were really trying to get in. They thought it would work.
It's funny either way.
It's funny either way. I mean, at least
I'm like, that's funny art, but
It is.
It would have been funny had it been meant as art.
Yeah.
horrible scam.
Yeah.
Hippies are so bad at scam.
No, it's a good Burning Man project. We should have a grifting Burning Man project next year.
Ooh.
We'll try to make under the table profits at Burning Man.
That never happens. What are you talking about?
We can
I'm not capable of it. That's what makes it funny.
I've never ever heard of that happening in the very department you work for.
I'm sure terrible things are happening in coffee shop. I just build the shit. I'm not playing with money out there. I'm not responsible enough to be given money. Welcome to Accuracy Third, the podcast where we are slowly but surely documenting a comprehensive oral history of the Gate, Perimeter, and Exodus Department.
Oh, is this what we're doing now?
This is what we continue to do. This is our ongoing mission to have everybody in Gate on our show.
Look,
Is it because they're not quite our neighbors?
They're not quite our friends.
They are absolutely our friends. Some of them are our old friends, and some of them are our older friends, and it's bizarre how many of them are our friends.
like many goths and gamers and folks who wear black denim and are of that ilk, they are extroverts. They don't want us to know that they're extroverts, but at least Gate is out there working the lanes, interacting with the people, telling them what to do and where to go.
Antisocial extroverts exist. Let's not invalidate this entire realm of people.
We can call them ambiverts if we like. That's real trendy. You see that everywhere? Everybody wants to be an ambivert.
They both hate being around people and hate being alone at the same time. Is that what you mean as an ambivert?
I really want to go out there and have just a bunch of high energy social interactions and then hide for 72 hours. Ambivert.
So, I'm D-Day.
Oh, I'm Beth.
I'm Rex.
You guys got any good Gate stories? Okay, wait.
Do we have any good Gate stories left?
I'm going to give you a choice, both of you. Gate story or black hole story?
So, I think that there's the same dark hole of similar, which is everything and anything can happen at the black hole, but the same things always do. And everything and anything can happen at Gate, but the same things always do. Like, the black hole is always, here, we're going to ignore you and give you an awful drink, or you're going to be accepted and therefore this will be a totally passive experience. Or at the actual Gate where you can come in and it's totally fine, or we're going to, strip search your vehicle, sir, and find all your hippies, right? They're all the same story. I mean, maybe I should know more creative Gate people, but all the stories I get from Gate are the same stories. Are these the same stories?
These are not entirely the same stories. They are, of course, similar stories because they involve Gate. And like in any department, like in any situation, it is the pains in the ass that are outstanding. We don't hear about all of the people who go through Gate and have their shit together. That's not interesting or funny. We hear about people being doofuses at Gate. We hear about cops being complete and utter pieces of shit. And we hear a lot about the black hole.
I'll tell you something about the black hole. And I know I've mentioned this at some point. In fact, we may even broach this in this episode, but
we may have, and I may have cut it out already.
The thing about the black hole is that it's absolutely a great bar, and it's my go-to bar. I know I can always have a decent time at the black hole and see people I know and get served a fine drink as long as, nobody is feeling particularly aggressive behind the bar, which happens. But there's always something about the black hole that makes my visit less than pleasant in some particular way. And it's always a different thing, but it's always absolutely the pee under the princess's fucking mattresses. I can be
Don't pee on the princess's mattresses.
Don't tell me where not to pee, Beth. We've gone over this.
I just don't understand why you think Gate would be cool with it.
I had the absolute blast night at the black hole. I was having a great old time hanging out on top of the bar, and all night long the sound system was playing Cocktail Bar, which is just the sections of that Human League song that mentions Cocktail Bar spliced together on an endless loop. It ran for well over an hour. It was gaslighting, is what it was. It was
an
it was a
tactic.
psyop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hostile audio architecture.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when you get to bartend, you get to pick
play
the
the
playlist. Yeah, so
I am a person who likes challenging music. I'll sit down and listen to some Wesley Willis for a while. I like everything Mr. Bungle has ever done. I enjoy me some fucking John Zorn. I like shit that is hard to approach. I do not like 2 solid hours of 6 phrases of one Human League song aggressively stitched together.
My experience with Black Hole was that for the first few years I went, I was way too intimidated to go in unless I was accompanied by many other people. And it wasn't until I was really burnt out in a rage at the end of a long work week and got wide out and dumped off my bike and was covered in dust and desperately needed to be someplace that was both in shade and out of the dust that would serve me something with ice. That I stormed in there, and it was the first time the bartender or anyone there had ever just given me a drink without harassing me. And it was like, oh, you just have to be pissed off.
Yeah, being aggro will absolutely punch your entrance ticket.
Be covered in dust and look pissed off, and you will get yourself a nice drink.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't even have to prove that you're staff. You're just obviously staff.
yeah, Surly goes a long way out there. If you show up during the event and you want to blend in with staff, just pretend that you have worked like a 72-hour shift.
Let's put a caveat on that. Surly, but not at the bartender.
And
Surly, not at the person who is actually serving you, in which you are polite.
Yeah, never forgetting you're getting a gift.
Exactly.
and that's not necessarily going to work in every staff camp. If you come into greeters all surly, you're not going to have a good time.
Did they have a bar?
Do they have a place to go in?
They have that shade.
They have that camp right at 6 o'clock, and they always seem very friendly.
No, that's a bunch of people who are half naked wanting to hug you. I don't know if
Look,
they have drinks at all.
It doesn't have to be a bar to be a party.
Yeah.
You can take that as accuracy third facts, folks. Walk into greeters, say hi. They love being greeted.
They do. Anytime you want to go in there and harass them with greeting, they love that. They love that.
And if you come into one of the Ranger bars all aggro, everybody is going to start comparing pocket knives and compasses.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a note.
I was thinking if you go to the saloon all aggro, they're just like, okay, cool. Like it's same with gate.
Yeah.
It's like
It's it's a different
Hey,
kind of
hey,
aggro.
do you need a job?
Do you need a job? Hey, you look disturbed. Would you like to work really hard?
Yeah. Do you have like a denim jacket, but like a denim jacket without sleeves?
Like I have a totally different feeling in the saloon than I do at the Black Hole. Like in the saloon, I feel like it's a meat market and I'm just not on any menu.
My love, you are tots covered in cheese. Like you are always on the menu at the dive bar.
God, I need a beard.
I thought that was
Oh, that's funny. That's a gay panic joke. That's good. This is 1997. We're on Friends. God damn. I like Punch Drunk Recording. You guys want to do the year-end episode right after this too?
Oh, well, we'll see how much energy we have. Sure.
Great.
Oh shit. Well, okay, here we go. Xander and Ginger Beer.
1 sec.
Rocket.
No, we need to give them a trigger warning first.
Content warning.
This is not about Fallujah.
Look, man, it's in all caps.
Is it
Trigger warning.
Is it strobe lights?
No.
Then it's a content warning.
Okay, content warning. We say moist a lot. Like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
For a while. So you should know about that.
That's not anybody's C-dub. You do not need a C-dub from Moist.
Yeah, no, I know. I wasn't giving a C-dub. I was giving a trigger warning.
Look, moist is not a problem.
We need to get Accuracy Third HR on the line. Come on.
All right, what else? Content warning.
Content warning.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so we're hot.
Great. I know I am all the time.
This is not
Well,
Wow,
that must
that's-
be nice.
Out of the gate.
this is not
To a good
news.
start. We haven't recorded in the studio with guests in a long goddamn time.
I bet.
Yeah,
little
since the
hype.
last time we did this.
A little hyped.
Well, super thrilled to be here. Thank you.
So let's talk about.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not coming out to like January earliest.
Whew.
Let's
Alrighty.
Holy shit.
talk about things.
Yeah.
Like what things?
Well, this is a podcast about Burning Man. So,
Wait, I'm in the wrong place.
Shit.
oh, well, Beth should be here if we're doing the other podcast.
Oh yeah, do
No,
you
we
guys
can-
like fantasy literature?
I mean,
Look at 'em.
Actually, yeah. Have you met us?
Yeah,
mean-
these two are from Gate.
We are.
Hi.
It's true.
Hi.
Are you listening to our other podcast? And if not, why not? I'm mad.
Nope, never have.
Yeah, it's fine. We're not done with it yet. We're on hiatus.
Pandemic hiatus.
Yeah, pandemic, depression, busy hiatus.
That's good.
Yeah, intermittent, constant
fair.
hiatus.
Super fair.
We release irregularly,
Well done.
and we've never claimed a schedule, so nobody can hold us to it.
Right.
That's good.
Even on
How
this
you gotta do it.
podcast. This podcast has never had a schedule. We've had habits and tendencies.
Well, I had a schedule, but I had to give that up about a year and a half ago and stop caring about it because we were never going to meet it again.
Yeah, but we never publicly announced that schedule, and that's what's important.
That's true.
Yeah.
Nobody was depending on us but us.
You can't be held to a schedule that you don't tell people about.
Damn straight.
That's true.
Never commit.
It's a good lesson.
So about Burning Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of schedules and not committing.
Who the hell are you and how did you get there?
Oh. Well, whoa. You go first because you were there first.
That's a wide open question. I first went to Burning Man.
You
in-
are. Hello, my name
Who the
is.
hell are you, man?
And I did.
Man,
He doesn't
Where?
follow instructions.
I got to do
well.
all of it?
Fine.
Damn. All right. I'm Xander. I went to Burning Man the first time in like 2003. Was it? Yeah. 03. I came out here to San Francisco for my brother's wedding in June and stayed because it was better than New Mexico.
Oh, absolutely.
What part of New Mexico?
Albuquerque, the only place anybody knows about.
You say that, but I came this close to owning property in truth or consequences.
TRC? TRC.
Truth or consequences.
Yeah.
TRC.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, I was in New Mexico for 20 years. Came here in June of 03, stayed, and my brother said after they came back from their honeymoon, said, "Hey, so we're going to well, it's kind of like Old Man Zozobra, but with a younger crowd."
I don't even get that reference.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Let's have some context.
Old
on
Man
that.
Zozobra is a long-running Southwest American, Mexican-American tradition of burning a man in effigy once a year to get away the bad spirits.
Right.
Sounds familiar.
Yep. Yep. Little on the nose there. So yeah, he's like, hey, it's kind of like that, but partier, and with younger people. I said, okay, where is it? He said, Nevada. I said, no.
I've heard about Nevada.
I left the desert on purpose. Come on. He's like, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be like 4 or 5 days in the desert. Fine. All right. So we left here like Tuesday night around midnight, got to Playa Wednesday morning just as the sun was coming up.
Epic.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah, very pretty.
Best time to arrive.
Especially in
Second
2003.
best time. But
In 2003, it was like, yeah, it's still 20,000 people max. But on Wednesday, it was like people were still arriving. Setup was still happening. So getting there Wednesday was normal.
I remember when the city used to grow.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Instead
Yeah.
of erupt.
Yeah.
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 Well, because you had to take time off of work, but it was still back when you wouldn't necessarily disclose where you were going to your employer. You were like, I have a family reunion in the
Unless
middle of the desert
Yeah.
that I have to go to. So can I get Thursday and Friday off?
You wouldn't believe this. Another aunt died.
Right.
I come from big families. Big, old, sick families that hate
Very,
the
very
summer.
ill, very ill families. It's tragic, really.
We lose somebody every year.
Right around the same time, too. Just, oof, those anniversaries are just cutting every single year.
I blame the 4th of July barbecue.
Must have been.
Everybody puts on like 5-6 pounds, and you just can't get through a Midwestern summer heat with an extra 5 pounds strapped around your middle.
Everyone's stroking out by August. Well, not everyone.
dark.
Not
Very
every year.
dark.
Almost. Yeah. So by Thursday of event week, I was like, all right, this is cool. I've seen all the things. I've met a bunch of new people, and now I need something to do. Not look at, not experience, something to do. Like our camp is just 25, 28 people, tents, some shade in the middle, nothing to do there. Walked into center camp. I was like, hey, I can make coffee. How do you guys staff this? They said, I don't know. We don't have a manager right now.
That tracks.
And I said, do you need help? Because your line is like all the way out the other side of the tent.
Yeah. That's what that line looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how cafe recruiting goes.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
much,
Do you
yeah.
want your coffee faster? Volunteer.
Yep. And yeah, so I volunteered.
So you ran out of unstructured activity in just
30
over
hours.
24 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there were only 20,000 people there then.
I was there in 2003.
Yeah.
Weren't you rangering?
But I'd had several years of
Right.
like fucking off doing nothing. I was rangering because I felt like civic duty.
Rex,
Not because I was bored.
I hate to bring it up on the podcast, but like you are a bit of a fucker offer. Xander
You're right.
has more agency for structured activities.
Also a bit of a fucker offer, though.
Listen,
Also a bit
Each
of a fucker honor, okay? I'm right here.
Okay. And who are you?
I'm ginger beer.
that is a great segue to intro. Thank you. Love it.
And
Love
this
it.
is my wife.
My wife.
My wife.
Insert Borat noise here.
I'm really
yeah.
proud that I didn't take part in that.
No, come on. Come on.
That's a lot of restraint.
Come on.
I'll do it later.
Pile on.
Yep. Yeah, so I actually went to the playa for the first time the year after he did. I was there in 2004. Again, very small, like 35,000 people at the time. I was there almost entirely solo. Like I had people that I met up with at the time, but like
Weird.
I had just moved to Seattle. I didn't really know anybody. I just heard about this thing that I really wanted to go to, so I got a ticket. I had like my first panic attack trying to pack for this thing. Like my first honest to God call somebody because I think I'm dying panic attack because like
All right,
oh my
all right.
God, headlamps and goggles and like I'm supposed to also bring costumes. What the fuck?
I heard you can't breathe there.
And also like my ride kind of was like, or the guy I was seeing, he was like, I don't know if I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm not going to go. Maybe I'm going to go. And so like I was trying to find a ride at the last minute. I finally did.
That's a huge pain in the ass.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah, this was the start of a very bad relationship.
Yeah, my friends are always like, "Well, I don't know what happened to the keys. I had them." And like, "What do you mean you had them?" Like, well, I might have packed them in like the back of the container truck.
Yep.
Look, each of us experiences our ADHD somewhat differently.
I experience mine as being right and true and capital V valid.
That's fair.
Thank you.
Not right, but it's fair.
Yeah.
It's
Gets me through the day.
it's super impressive to go solo to the burn from Seattle.
Well, I mean, yeah. So
Did you have like preparatory experiences?
No, I went onto the blog and saw just like the big how to pack for Burning Man list. And then that's when I had my anxiety attack. But I was also, this guy that I was seeing, we were also building an art car together. And so, so I knew enough about that. Like he'd been before, fine, cool. And so we were building this thing, and then he started waffling, right? So then that was the like, we don't know if we're gonna drive the art car down. You should find a new ride. I'll try to help you find a ride. So like I had a ride. I ended up finding him out there, like on the Esplanade a few days in at one point, just sitting on the hood of the art car that we built together. Like unsuspectingly,
Nice.
it was
Like
a
an
shock
album
to
cover.
see him, right? Yeah, no, I was there. I camped with people I barely knew. I fucked off a lot and was just like, hey, I'm an independent person. I can just like go on a fucking walk. And that's what I did a lot of. Met some cool people. Had, my brain blown open on a multitude of opportunities, just like the scale of the art and like the community that is built, community, and then that was it hooked me. And I came back the next year and brought my mother.
Oh, nice. Jealous.
Yeah.
And what did Mom have to say about Burning Man?
Mom loved Burning Man. She is actually visiting San Francisco right now. She is at our house right now with our tiny human. But she, again, had the top of her brain blown open with the scale of the art. She's from Minnesota. Art of that scale doesn't really exist there a whole lot. And it was great. Like
How far away is the St. Louis Arch?
Many, many, many miles.
Yeah, like half of the continent north to south.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
That's probably why she
country.
doesn't know
Half the
about it.
She's completely, she has no idea.
Yeah, you should tell her that's a really big arch.
I'm going to go home and do that. I'm actually going to text her
Thank you.
right
Yeah,
now.
please.
I'm going to text her during the show.
Love that. Well, I mean, let us know later
they
if she
said
texts you
the
back.
arch is
Right.
really big.
Have you heard about this thing?
Size queen.
In St. Louis?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's been to the burn at this point, so
She
she
has.
knows.
She has.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll go back eventually.
She will.
She hasn't been, but she wants to go back.
Now that she's
This is gonna
retired,
be
she
the
has
year.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we have a burn again, she can totally go.
She does, yeah. So I went as a participant for a few years. I camp daddied a happy camp for a couple of years in there, which was educational and
It was an experience.
Duh.
It was an experience.
and then
It was a happy camp.
It was a happy camp, yeah. And then
That's all you can ask for.
Is it though? Really?
What do you want? Like success? Like things getting accomplished? It's Burning Man.
Yes.
If you can escape a burn without like the destruction of a friendship inside a camp, tits.
Yes. I think
been a while.
I think we successfully did that for a number of years. And then I in 2010 I went to the burn for the first time without anybody at all. Like my relationship had finished. It was my first time single at Burning Man. And I was having all the fun single at Burning Man experiences that you do. And I went into center camp, and center camp, hello. And I was in line for coffee, and they did that volunteer thing. Like, if you want to volunteer, this place runs on volunteers. And my previous partner had always been like poo-pooey about volunteerism at Burning Man. It was like not cool to do. Like you shouldn't, whatever, those stupid volunteers. They're just playing into the org's hand.
Gross.
Yeah. So
But still,
and
Jesus.
so in a moment of like freedom and defiance, I was like, you know what? Fucking yes. I volunteer for center camp. I've been a barista. I've managed a coffee shop in my life.
Yep.
Like, let's go. And I volunteered, and then that's where we ended up meeting, Xander and I, that same year. And now we're
Get
married.
the hot one in the purple bikini back here.
He's got a type.
I mean, have you seen
It's
you?
me.
It's good to be a type and be had.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, to
Yeah?
both of those.
Yeah, that worked.
You come to us through through the cafe, as many do, and also from Gate, which I'm pretty sure, even though like Rex and I help get people to volunteer for the cafe itself, we've had more people from Gate on this podcast than I think even normies maybe at this point.
That wouldn't surprise me a whole lot, actually.
I think cafe is a really good entry point for
It is.
volunteers.
1,000%.
Yes.
And then when volunteers like get the itch to do something a little more serious but don't want a DPW, Gate is just like right next door.
It's right there.
Yeah.
I think you're dead on. I think cafe is like a gateway drug where it's a really easy entry because like if you only do one shift, totally cool.
Oh, yeah. It's a
whereas
blast.
other departments, you know, they sometimes want more of a commitment from you. So cafe is an easy entry point. And then I think for both of us, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Xander, but like I feel like for both of us, we had that like I don't want to be with the happy hippies and the acro balancers and like I don't.
I'm tired of sitting around with the fucking contact dancers waiting for something to fucking happen.
Yeah. And, you know, like the time that I had to console a crying patron because
The
one of
one
our...
time?
Well, okay, the one time that's memorable. Because the barista was too mean to her. And she wanted, like, happy rainbow glowy stuff. And, like, okay, but, like, you were in his line for 20 minutes and you saw how he was. You could have changed lines. So...
Do you think you're magic? Do you think that guy thinks you're magic?
Apparently, yes.
Also, her chai was too cold. She asked for it double hot.
Double hot. You know, there's a top level you can heat things to that are made of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, you know, at that point I was just like, you know, I feel like Gate, and this was, Xander had gone into Gate the year prior to me being there. And so I was already sort of Gate adjacent and had hung out with them a little bit and was so super intimidated by all of them still. But I was just like, those kind of crusty fucks, they feel more like me.
Those are my people.
And then it turned out that that was true.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Yep.
I stepped into Xander's role in cafe when I early in my cafe volunteer experience.
You and two others did.
Volunteer coordinator, yeah?
Yeah. That's what I was doing.
My role was assistant operations manager.
I did that also.
Yeah. That's the chunk I took over.
There were many hats.
There often are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in cafe.
How did you find that role for you then?
I loved a lot of things about it. Eventually, I kind of burned on it because I was also working in the coffee industry year round. So it was like I go from my job to my job at my vacation doing the exact same thing.
Doing the same
That's
thing.
rough.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So now I just moved into a different role in the department. I'm in a support role. I worked before the event.
Yep. Yeah. I spent 3 years doing volunteer coordinator for cafe, and the last 2 of those also doing ass ops. The last one of those doing ranger and gate as well.
Oh my God. How many belts were you wearing for those radios? That's a lot of radios.
One harness.
One harness with all those radios.
One harness because I had cafe radio and the gate radio. And then my ranger radio was a shift radio, so I didn't have to have it if I wasn't working as a ranger. So
okay.
Just 2 radios. Was fine.
That's
plenty.
Just 2 radios.
Just two.
I've slimmed down since then. Now I'm just back to 1 radio part-time.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that this year.
How many were you carrying?
Just one.
Yeah,
But I was carrying one all the time.
But did you have a pager? That's like that next
No.
level where like you're like the fuck you pager, right? The people who can reach you anywhere, anytime, even if you turn off your radio, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that sucks.
That was my first year doing ass ops. So like, here's your radio, here's your pager. I'm like, I don't want to take it back.
Oh, they didn't give me a pager.
Oh yeah, I know. Because after the first year, I was like, nobody ever paged me. I don't need this. Take your 90s tech back.
I mean, I was on half the day. Why would you need to pay to right. Leave me alone the other half
I
of the day.
literally live in the backyard of the cafe. If there's a problem you need
Yeah, you can
for,
shout for me.
if there's a problem you need me for, I'll be within 30 feet.
Right, because you had your living container back there. You had
I was in
living at your
the
work.
first LC in the back of the cafe. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's brutal.
that makes me a little sad. They should at least be across the street.
I got to test that for them. It was fun.
Well, they don't do that anymore.
No.
Now there's Cafe Village,
It's a village.
which
yeah.
we also
There was a
lived
village
in
then,
for a hot
too.
minute.
There was a village then, too.
Yeah, but it was tiny compared to the village.
But it had a pyramid.
Aww.
It had the dangerous pyramid
That
shape.
pyramid
Thank you,
was
Ray.
was not that dangerous. That storm was dangerous. That storm
Yeah.
destroyed so much.
That was the same storm that uprooted a small geodesic dome in
In the black hole.
the black hole that then beat into somebody and they had to be airlifted out.
Oof.
Yeah, they
I say small. It was a 12-foot dome.
and
Big dome.
that was the one that created the rule for all black home.
Black
Hello,
home.
Freud. Fuck you, Freud. Black hole structures. They all had. Now they have to have like rebar, and they have to be inspected in order to pass muster, in order to camp in the black hole at this point because of that incident.
Yeah, that was the single worst condition I've ever seen out there. Like having all that dust in the air, then the rain, then the wind all together. That was just the worst.
I think I disliked the icicles in my tent more.
The freezing rain was more painful.
Oh, yeah.
I was also stuck in it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was 05, 06. We had
05. It was 05.
Yeah.
I got
cold.
just a taste of freezing rain my first year when I went out for the Spencer Tunic photo. Bad conditions to be taking naked pictures with.
Yep.
What
Great
is
light.
Spencer Tunic?
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
He's,
but then I was like, I feel dumb.
Yeah, what did you spell with your naked body, Rex?
It was just a whole bunch of naked people lying on the ground. He does the same photo all over the world, and he did it at Burning Man.
Yep.
Nice.
It was very cold at dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the coldest time.
That's
Sometimes it's freezing
that's the like I don't want to leave my tent or my whatever condition I'm in under the blankets, but
No.
I have to pee so bad, and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna like violently shiver and try to make it into that little portal hole the entire time.
Best case scenario is I'm in bed and need to go out at that time of the morning. Usually I am somewhere already out and just hopeless that I will ever be home.
Wait, so you're still out at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah,
So actually, that was one of my favorite things about managing the cafe during the 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. shift, because I'm a morning person out there, especially, and I really love the mornings because there's this really great conflagration of the people who are still out and the people who are newly out. And like the newly out, like they got up at their 6:30, like maybe they went for their little run out to the temple. I was also one of those people at one point, so no judgment. But like
You're allowed to run on the playa.
Yeah.
I don't think you're crazy.
I mean, I was doing 5Ks out there one year, just
At
just
6
for
a.m.?
exercise.
Judging.
Yeah, I'm not judging. But yeah, like so those are the perky people who come into the cafe and they're like, "Oh, hi! Like, can I get a mocha with an extra shot?" And you're like, "Yes, I know that you are a morning person. You have purposefully been awake right now." And then there are the people who come through the cafe and they've got their floor length fur coats that are completely dustified because you know that
From
they
the
like
knee down.
Yeah, they were in the wake of some art cars, and they just came back from like deep playa, and they've got like the existential dread on their face, and you can tell that they have not slept, and like
Because they just sat through the entire 90-minute set that started at 4 a.m.
right, and they were purposefully staying up to watch the sunrise because it's beautiful, and like they stumble into the cafe, and it's just like you can just sense that they want nothing else than to not be conscious. And you're just like, I feel you. Here's your coffee. Please go sleep.
Here's your
I
hot
hope you sleep.
chocolate.
I hope you can sleep. Enjoy.
I'm just going to sit up for a while, but then I'll lay down and we'll see what happens.
I hope my eyelids close at some point today.
Yeah, I feel bad for people that can't sleep. I can sleep on anything or in any situation.
Oh, me too.
Practically. It's the best.
Yeah, me too. It's my stupid human trick.
I think it's an important life skill.
Yeah.
Some of us don't have it. Thank you. Thanks for rubbing it in.
It takes practice.
It does not take practice. I've been practicing for 41 years, okay?
I recommend you switch to like working overnights for a couple years and then switch back to diurnal living and like you'll sleep.
Have you tried heavy blanket?
I do like Heavy Blanket Friend. So interestingly, when we were working the lanes at Burning Man for Gate, which we no longer do, we're in a different area of the department. We did the graveyards. That was like our.
That was the most
for the
fun.
first half of the week. We would do
the most fun.
The 6 p.m. to midnight, and then the second half of the week we'd flip it, so we would do midnight to 6 a.m. And those shifts are some of the most asinine, bass-backward, amazing, drama-filled shifts at
Weirdest
Gate
bullshit.
ever.
Oh yeah.
That is when the weirdest bullshit comes through.
I bet.
Especially on like burn night. Burn night, midnight to 6 a.m. If you
After
want
the man has burned.
after the man has gone down, the people trying to come in
Yeah.
with no tickets,
Yeah, but come
chef's
on.
fucking chef's
The
kiss.
thing's over.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh yeah. Oh
Come
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Just want to steal some bikes.
Yep. If a Jub told me if I brought a gross like a trash bag and help clean up, I could come in for free just to tell the gate people. No joke. That was
What was
literally
Seriously.
Jub on the phone.
Jub told me.
Jub told me. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of our best stories are from
Naked
that night.
Bob has my ticket.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Because Naked Bob
bad.
was on at 6 a.m. that morning. So
Yeah.
we were like, hey, so just hang out. Hey, Naked Bob.
Hold on just a minute.
This asshole says you have his ticket.
What are you doing with that guy's ticket?
That went very well, by the way.
Naked Bob was like, what'd that fucker say? Hold on. Let me go look at him. Nope. I know what you that is.
Nope.
Fuck him.
Oh yeah, I got his ticket. Right here.
Right.
Right here in my naked pocket.
Yeah.
Right in my running shorts. We already talked about how I volunteered in a like moment of like feminist glory, freed from my shackles of my previous relationship and the poo-pooing of volunteerism.
Yep.
And so I volunteered for a 7 a.m. shift at the cafe because, again, I'm a morning person. So I showed up. I had my little like custom purple bikini on, overlaid with some fur chaps that I had made in preparation for these were callbacks to my very first burn. They were there for my very first burn, and they came back with me. And I had like a jacket too because it was cold in the morning, but then it got hot in the afternoon, so you want to take it off and have layers. Because San Francisco microclimates have taught me things. And so I was made a cashier, which was great. I love interacting with people. Like I'm, quick on the draw. And I was having.
This is the same year that I was doing ass hops, but I was doing overnight ass hops. The operations manager was daytime 7 to 7. I was operations 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Nothing like a
So-
12-hour shift to make you nice and clear-headed.
12-hour
Right.
overnight.
12-hour overnights, ending at 7 a.m. So
My hands
past
bled at the
sunrise.
end of every one of those.
From
past
the
sunrise.
washing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
All the washings,
Yeah.
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 So listening to great music, would later discover it was Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, which is awesome because like it's songs we know, but in a punk setting. So it's like you can bop around and sing to it, but it's not the same old kind of songs you normally
they're the
listen
best.
to. They're so good. And they are actually one of the reasons that we're married now. So I was dancing around, doing cashier shit, and apparently he was standing behind me just checking out my ass.
Yep.
It's a
we
good
do.
ass.
Checks out.
And so the next day when she came back to cashier again, I was again at the end of my 7-hour stint doing fuck all, sitting there because
Right.
all my work was done in the first 3 hours.
But at the end of my first shift, I was like, I want more of this. Please give me more. Can you put me on the schedule? And they were like, we want more of you. You were
Yes, come
amazing.
back.
Please, dear God, come back.
Yep.
So I came back the next day.
Underrated fact is that cafe shifts are fun as fuck.
They're so good.
yeah.
They're so good.
Like committing to it full time is a lot, especially if you work in coffee already. But a single 4-hour bite is
Easy.
a
Oh.
fucking blast.
Especially
It's
when
a
you
lot
get
of
a
fun.
good crew that like you really like. My barista and I just like jammed at one point. The manager at the time, Kai, came over and set like a second tip jar in front of us, and he was like, "See if you can go twice as fast." And we were like, "Game on!" And we just like
Wow.
zoomed. Right, so
Yep.
between us and the runners, it was just game on, and we had a great time. So I was like, "Give me more, please. Here, tap it right into my vein." Yeah, so then he was there, and I arrived, and my barista was not there yet.
And so I was like, hey, your barista's not here yet? You want to just go sit on that couch back there and snuggle with that guy?
And I was like, sure. Kai was like, I'll bring you a coffee. What do you want? Just go snuggle with that cute boy over there. And I was like, oh, yeah, he is kind of cute. Okay.
I was like, sign me up. I'm tired.
And so...
I snuggle.
Yeah. So we sat on the sofa and snuggled. We didn't even exchange names. I was just like, hi, Kai said I should come snuggle with you. So like, I'm here to snuggle.
My coat is big. Come on inside.
And he brought me a coffee. And at some point, my cashier my barista arrived, and we went and worked another shift. Yep. And that was that. We saw each other one more time that year, right? We did a similar thing where we cuddled and we didn't even share names. Similar situation, and got to my shift.
2 days
he
later.
Was there. Yeah. And then that was it. And we burn-ended, came home.
Didn't exchange names, numbers, nothing.
Nothing. And then like 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later.
And this is going to get really convoluted, so I'm going to try to be simple about it. I had a photo that was taken in center camp with a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. Sorry, by a friend of mine.
By a friend of yours.
Mm-hmm.
With myself and somebody from Arctica.
Mm-hmm.
Jaguar.
I didn't want to name names. It's Jaguar.
An incredibly recognizable individual.
Yes.
Who had I was standing on a box looking for a friend, and he came up and he was like, I painted that box that you're standing on. And we sort of like had a chat. During that chat, a friend of mine named Steak came up. She was like, I want to take a photo. Took the photo. Got home, posted the photo to Facebook. It was on Facebook. A different friend of mine who knew Jaguar from Arctica tagged Jaguar. Within about 30 minutes, Jaguar sent me a message saying, hey, I don't really like images of me online being tagged. I'm taking the tag off. I just didn't want you to take it personally that I'm untagging myself from your photo. Within that 30 minutes...
I happened to be online, browsing Facebook, sitting in a cafe in the middle of San Francisco going, I'm bored. What do? I don't want to go home. I don't like my girlfriend right now. What? Hey, that's the girl I snuggled with. Sent her a message real quick. Hey, want to grab coffee?
And that's when I learned his name.
Yep.
And we went out for a coffee date, and, then the rest is history.
Yeah, because I'm friends with Jaguar on Facebook is the only reason I saw that photo.
Mm-hmm. That's super damn cute.
The serendipity is almost like nauseating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some Playa Provides kind of
No, we don't do that.
Shit.
No. Mm-hmm. No. Serendipity is as far as I will go with that hippie fucking dippy.
Yeah, but it keeps happening is the thing.
I refuse.
I would be foolish to not admit that it happens more often than not, seems like.
I mean, we can all choose to ignore that the thing that we do is kind of like weird and magical and fucks with us in ways we don't expect.
Absolutely does.
I will absolutely agree to everything you just said. I just absolutely will not say the Playa fucking provides.
Sure.
It's a little pat.
Look, we don't have to spell magic with a C or a K.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I have an instant visceral reaction against the Playa Provides because of the sheer number of times people attempting to come in the gate have had no water, food, or place to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then on top of that, doing a ranger shift the next day and having to literally help carry one of those same fucking people to Rampart.
Yeah, that's just selfish.
Playa provided,
we had Rampart for them.
Playa provided Rampart. Here you go.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Yeah. The selfishness that's imbued in that phrase sometimes, and when it doesn't mean like the serendipity that we're talking about, but it means like I'm just gonna go and foist myself on everyone else and make my needs their needs.
Everyone else has all the water, food, drugs, etc. that I could possibly want out there. I'll just go with myself and fucking my Tivas and my 15 Cliff Bars, and I'll be fine.
That brought the sass.
That is not what the Playa provides. The Playa provides what you didn't know you needed.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, like a trip to Rampart.
Or even something
Or even wanted.
you knew you needed and just failed to adequately equip yourself
Yeah,
with.
you didn't know you were going to get spiked with fluids, but you are.
But here you go.
The Playa provides.
Yeah, I prefer the Playa provides to manifest goddamn anything. Like, nobody is manifesting a thing,
No.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
No.
Agree.
Nobody out there is performing Mordenkainen's magic manifestation.
Not with that attitude.
Look, man, I have to buy my tickets. No, I don't. I take that back. I haven't bought a ticket in well over a decade.
I feel like with regard to like unexpectedly hot burns, we got asked to do burn perimeter for it was a chapel.
The photo chapel.
The photo chapel, Mike Garlington's photo chapel. And we were like, yeah, so it was just a bunch of gate people. It's actually the night that I got my name Ginger Beer.
Yep.
That happened. But we were, did the burn perimeter. It wasn't a huge structure. But we moved that perimeter back at least twice. And I was actually concerned about the back of my jacket because that motherfucking thing blew up not blew up, but like it was so hot.
Well, it was all paper mache, right?
It wasn't the paper mache. It was basically just a plywood structure. What made it so hot was all the varnish on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
To keep all the photos on it. That paper mache'd all those on. It was fucking varnish.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
My jacket, my Black Ranger Carhartt jacket was smoking on my back.
Wait a second. Black Ranger jacket? Doesn't your jacket have to be khaki?
No.
You just need your khaki patch.
Your hat's supposed to be
Technically, your hat's supposed to be khaki and your T-shirt is supposed to be khaki. Nothing else you're wearing is supposed to be khaki, and Rangers don't have jackets.
No jacket.
No jacket.
No
You get a
jacket.
t-shirt and a hat.
T-shirt.
Four
and hat.
scarves and no
That's it.
pants.
Makes no sense.
But yeah, that was a hell of a hot fire. It was really good, and you could see we're facing out, looking at the crowd, making sure everyone's safe, and the fire's behind us, and you could kind of see in the crowd's faces as things
all
got
their
way
eyes got a
hot,
little wider,
and they started to
they all
do
started
like
scooting back.
scoot, and then we were like, yeah, it's
And we're like,
real hot,
yeah,
real hot.
you think you're hot? I'm hotter. Scoot back further.
let's move it all back.
Yeah, I make sure that when I do a burn perimeter, my quadrant is ready for me to be like, okay, everyone, we got to move back. This sucks.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
As people pile in, you just got to let the people up front know that you have to pass back the rapport I'm doing to those people. Because at some point we may need to tackle a stupid motherfucker who runs at the fire. I can't do that, guys, but you can.
That's actually not a bad thing to talk about in a quadrant rap.
Yes.
Hey, if you are starting to feel uncomfortably hot, I'm 6 feet in front of you. I'm going to catch on fire. So maybe scooch back if it gets big hot so I can move.
Yeah.
I think burn perimeters are really interesting to that was my first one that I've ever done. I'm not a ranger. I don't do I'm not a Sandman, thank God. But it was a really interesting experience to have as, somebody who kind of works for the org, but is also kind of a participant, to just see it from that perspective, where I don't get to watch the flames. But I can see it in people's eyes, and I can see it in people's faces, and the way that their cheeks get flushed. And that's about as woo-woo as I'm going to get. But it's a really interesting experience, keeping everyone safe.
I think I might be ready to go back and do a big burn perimeter. I got pretty traumatized by rangering.
Yeah.
I worked some long perimeters.
So I still work Ranger. I still Ranger one shift every year. I will not do more than that. And I make it a point to simply work a single dirt shift every single year, and I pick a new person to walk with every year. I've walked with ex-khakis. I've walked with first-year shiny pennies. I've walked with department leads previously. I mean, it's been really fun. And then there was the year that I got to ride around with law enforcement.
Oh,
Tell
joy.
that story.
Yeah.
6 hours.
Can you tell that story?
I can.
Yeah, but first, can you explain what dirt shift is? Because I feel like I've never actually asked you officially. I feel like I know what it is.
Yeah. So working gate, you have working the lanes. You are in the lanes doing the base level job of checking tickets, checking people's cars, etc. Working as a ranger, the base level is a dirt shift. You're walking in the dirt.
Right.
You're being the ranger who's on the street. People can flag down if they need something, et cetera, et cetera. You're responding to local calls if somebody in your area needs something.
Their tent is in my space and I don't like it.
Right.
It's what most rangers do on most of their shifts.
It's what 80% of rangers do all the time, and what some rangers absolutely refuse to do and really should.
I see.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
The year that I did the ride along with zebras was interesting. It was enlightening. It was sitting in a truck and chatting with the head BLM guy who was on site as we just drove around the city for like 2 hours and hearing his stories and the shit he'd been through and how he was at the Ammon Bundy thing and was the lead BLM guy at that. Just hearing his stories and his general outlook on how easy Burning Man was for the BLM compared to the other shit they actually have to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that's their perspective.
And then seeing it as, and he's still a cop
Yeah.
here
Yup.
doing cop
shit.
things.
Yeah.
Because an hour later, we were outside point one about 400 feet as Pershing, Washoe, and BLM were tossing a truck. A 25-foot Enterprise rent-a-truck full of nothing but luggage. The luggage was all of the folks who were on Burner Express.
Oh.
So they take the luggage separately from the bus, right?
So the truck with the luggage gets to go in point one, so it doesn't have to deal with gate road traffic. Makes sense. Perfectly fine. BLM had pulled the truck over on the road outside point one, on Playa, off the highway, on Playa. And they were taking a drug dog to every single bag.
Oh my God.
So these poor
Every
people weren't
single
even.
bag that hit, they took the entire bag and threw it in the back of a pickup.
So I imagine, like when I heard this story, I was like, I can't imagine being on Burner Express. Being, first of all, being separated from my luggage in general, like that's stress making.
Yeah.
And then this idea that like when I got to my camp, my luggage might not even be there because some drug
might
dog
never be there.
It might never be there because some drug dog signaled on it and it just never made it through to me. Like Burner Express,
Jesus
you already
Christ.
have to pack so small, and then to just have it not be there at all.
Yeah, I just wouldn't.
So they tossed the whole truck. They filled up the back of a pickup truck with stuff that the dog had hit on, and then they drove away.
Fuck.
And the guy driving the truck was like, I don't load or unload this. My job is literally to drive the truck. I'm not putting 60 bags back in the back of this truck by myself. It can block your road for all I care.
There was probably liability concerns for
bunch
that
of
person
liability.
too,
Yep,
right? Like,
absolutely.
I'm
Yep.
not going to touch anybody's stuff. I'm just hired
Right.
to be driving.
Right. And so at that point, it was me, Creech, who was Ranger Khaki, Trigger, who was the head of gate. I was there as a ranger. Creech was there as a ranger. Trigger was there as gate because it was happening outside point one, within plain view of all of our folks working gate who were like, that's way outside my purview.
Yeah.
It's above my pay grade.
And we're like, what the fuck just happened? And so we basically shamed the Washoe and Pershing County sheriffs into helping reload the truck.
Good job.
One of them.
Fuck.
One of them stopped and helped. The rest got back in their vehicles and left. In the commissary the next day, I saw that one. I gave him a high five. I looked at the others and I said, "Oh, you," and kept walking.
Was that, what was it, 2018 when they were doing all that interdiction bullshit?
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the year that things
Yeah.
were coming down hot
Yep.
and heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
No, it was 2017. The year before that. Yeah.
That.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
Fuckers.
brutal.
Yep.
Fucking cops. I wonder if that was like a planned thing. If they knew who they were pulling over.
They knew exactly who it was. Yeah.
What a shitty move.
There was a meeting the next day with the full law enforcement enclave. Trigger was there from Gate. Patty was there from Gate. Creech was there from Rangers.
I'm thinking about on site the day, like in
Yep.
the moment, had like
He threw a fit. He threw like a mad, angry, cussing, finger in cop's face fit.
rightly
Good.
so.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was not a fun meeting the next day because it happened in the commissary
Oh, fun.
directly after lunch. As Charlie, the event organizer, said, "All right, all you all who are not part of this little table, I need everybody else to leave. We need to have a meeting and we need some privacy."
Pretty decent, Charlie. You've been working on that.
Well, he did.
Having bartended with
I
Charlie
was
for a
gonna say,
while.
he did come and bartend
Yeah.
at the Black Hole with
Yeah.
us. In fact, he and Marnie used to request the closing night shift to bartend at the Black Hole when we were managing.
So
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
Tuesday post-event, after Monday strike, everybody would leave, Exodus, all that shit would happen. Tuesday, most of gate is done. Like, all we really have to do is, like, strike, clean, moop, etc. But the bar's still open.
And so we throw one last big old party. I mean,
You gotta drain those bottles.
I mean, no, we packed
No.
them up, but
We saved
well,
most of that
we
shit.
packed them up back when we were managers.
Right.
But yes, but yeah, Charlie and Marnie would come in and request and be like, "Can we come behind the bar again? That was really fun last time."
We're like, yeah, this time we'll try to have the fireworks show right in front of you.
Yeah, yeah. And they would do a 4-hour shift,
4-hour shift.
behind the bar with us,
Yep.
and it was fan-fucking-tastic. It was some
Yeah.
of the most fun times behind that bar was having those two back there because
yeah.
Charlie would just shake off all of the other responsibilities he had in his mind. At least that's how it seemed.
Yeah.
And just like interact with people and
Yeah.
have a good fucking time and like drink some booze and pass out shots. It was wonderful.
Good.
He'd show up wearing his pager and his radio and take his radio off and put it over in the corner of the
Yeah.
bar. And then an hour later, when there was a Roman candle battle involving one of the gate volunteers and a sheriff's car, he's
There-
like, "Oh, fuck!
That was the time
I
that
was
we had to close.
Don't worry,
We closed
it's okay.
the bar.
We'll just close the door."
It was we were like, "You're not here. You're not here. You're not here. You're not here. Nobody's here. Nobody's here. Nobody's
Nobody
fine.
saw you, it's
Everything's
okay."
fine. Everything's fine."
Oh, it pays to have a pull down bar door.
Yeah,
It
Yeah,
does.
it's
It
really
does.
good.
Yeah.
There was an arrest in that incident.
Oh no.
oh yeah.
That
like,
person was then
you shoot a Roman
unarrested.
candle at a Washoe County sheriff.
Yeah, Washoe County doesn't think what we're doing is funny.
They don't fuck around.
No.
Sheriffs don't think a lot of things are funny.
Yeah. I would rather talk to a Pershing County sheriff than a Washoe County sheriff. That's just
Yep.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, sheriffs
that.
are bad, but like crazy religious sect sheriffs are worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real capital C Christian sheriffs. I don't truck with them.
But I mean, if we're playing like cop roulette, I'd rather have a BLM Ranger.
I've never spelled Christian with a UNT in it.
You can.
The best swag I ever got was they handed out a big gulp style
Plastic tumbler.
plastic cup with the BLM logo on it, and I used it in our LC, which is living container, because we had an LC for a while. I used it to shave my legs every day. It was like the
Nice.
best use of that little plastic cup because I could
Perfect.
yeah,
Really lather up in there. Nice.
yeah.
Man, all I've ever gotten from them is shitty plastic badges and shitty badges, shitty stickers shaped like badges.
Oh.
They really like badges.
Yeah, if you put your boobs out, they like to give you more swag.
I
It's
never
like-
don't
it's like-
have my
Proof.
boobs out. Yeah.
I'm going to flash a lot more cops from here on out.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah.
You should definitely, just in general, just flash more cops.
Officer Pig!
We should get some t-shirts that say shirt cocking for the cops.
I want some beads.
Our cop merchandise is not selling as well as you'd expect. We only sold one Cops Love Bustin' shirts.
Yeah, it's a little obscure.
Yeah, but they do.
Do you think, though? I don't know.
Cops love busting.
Tiny Human and Beep, we had them, Beep's parents were doing a date night, so we're like, yep, we'll take the Tiny Humans. We're going to go on an adventure. It was friends and family night at Thunderdome. So we we know folks at Thunderdome. We got into the inner circle. We're sitting there on the floor, having a great time. And there was a small line, apparently, for Thunderdome that night, for friends and family night.
They were like, "There's nobody left to fight."
So they announced, they were like, hey, if anybody has ever wanted to fight in Thunderdome,
Now is the time.
now is the time because there is no line.
It was not Friends and Family Night.
Oh, wasn't? No, it was just normal line.
It was like a Thursday or a Friday night.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're totally right. And somebody had actually asked me, do you think Tiny Human would fight in Thunderdome? And I was like, of course not. She's just so gentle. She's such a nice, she's just so considerate and beautiful and nice. And she's
It just doesn't seem like her thing.
And so this person comes out and says like, hey, if you ever want to fight in Thunderdome, now's the time because there's no line. And Beep stands up and turns to Tiny Human
and says, "Want to fight?"
And we both kind of like held our breath.
We're like, maybe.
and Tiny Human's like, yeah, sure. And they like, she stands up and she throws down her pocket belt because of course she's a burner. She's a pocket belt. And like they take off their jewelry and like take off their shoes and they go and get in line.
And while she and Beep are similarly aged, they are not similarly sized. Beep is probably 20% larger.
Right.
So at this point, it has 15 pounds on Tiny Human.
And our friend Bubbles, who also works in Gate, who is also like Thunderdome adjacent, is like, I'll take them. I'll help them get into harnesses. And so they do. They go to the front of the line. They're the next up to fight. They get in the harnesses. And I was just like, oh my God.
Yep.
And of course, like I pull my phone because I'm like, I'm going to record this for posterity.
You must. Yep.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I'm sure you have seen some pretty gentle fights in Thunderdome like I have.
Oh,
and
sure.
Xander has. Like
Yes.
you get in there and you like bop each other a little bit and like, ha ha ha, it's so fun. And so
Look at
that's
us, we're in
kind of what I was
Thunderdome.
expecting
Two
from
sparkle
these.
ponies enter.
Right.
Two sparkle ponies leave.
Because we're
Prance.
friends.
Prance out.
So that's kind of what I was expecting from these two teenagers, these two freshly new
Preteens.
teenagers. Tweens.
They were 12.
That was not at all
Not
we got.
what happened.
They pulled them back
That was
and
not what
they
happened.
fucking kicked each other's ass.
Hormones are a hell of a drug.
No,
There
they were
was-
just like super competitive.
Yeah. It was just,
And-
all right, let's do it.
Bam! And like they, the pullers did their job, and like the people egging them on, like did their job, and
And
like
they
at
went
one point,
together and they did the whole entangle with legs.
yeah,
and
Tiny Human grappled
grabbed the
because she's
harness
been
and-
watching.
Yeah.
She got the grapple on, she got the legs going, and then like bam, bam, bam
The
with the
crap out of the
baton.
friend.
And he like pulled him back, and at one point like there's that parental thing where I saw something going down and I was like, oh, they're getting overly tired, or like they're like something's happening, something serious is going on, and I very nearly stood up to stop because like I was just like, they may not be able to stop themselves and I might need to like
Step in.
like mama bear out
Yep.
about it
Yep.
and just be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I
But-
can see in their faces,
But
right?
the Thunderdome staff know their shit, and
Right.
they know it well, and they saw the same thing we did at about the same
so they
time.
they pull them
Pull 'em
together.
apart.
Pull them apart.
And they did like a solid check-in, like eyes
good?
to eyes.
You
Are
good?
you okay?
And they both, like, Tiny Human was like, well, Beep was like,
Took a big deep breath because Beep had just taken a solid groin kick.
yeah, they had gotten a kick to the groin. So they were like, ugh,
Not on purpose, but it happens.
yep. And they were like,
The battle.
yep, okay. And they go over to Tiny Human and they're like, you good? You good? They do the eye check, right? You good? You good? And she's like, again!
Arms over her head, sword waving.
And so they pulled him back one more time and let him go at it. I am not too proud to say Tiny Human totally won.
Good.
Hands
Yeah,
down.
people ought to win.
And then they like got them out of the harnesses, and the two Tiny Humans came back to us, and we were like, "Amazing job, amazing." Important question: are you
you
still
doing?
friends? And they were like, "Yeah, can we go over to the swings now?" And that was the end of their fight. They just wanted to go swing on the big swings
Yeah.
that were next to Thunderdome. It was amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Overall, how was being a Burning Man parent to an adolescent?
It's you know what?
have the burn you choose to have.
Yes.
If you have raised your tiny human in a way that they are self-sufficient enough
Independent.
and independent enough, and you can rely on them to do things like read a watch and check in on a schedule, you can have the burn you want to have.
Yeah. I mean, we would send Tiny Human out, which is her playa name, in case you're wondering.
On her laminate.
It's on her laminate for Gate.
Nice.
But we would send her out and say like, hey, go adventure.
Go do. Have fun.
Stay within, an X block radius from where we are working right now. You know how to get home if you need. And every hour on the hour, we want you to come back and check in. Knowing that like she can't get that far in an hour
Yeah.
and then back. And that felt like the right amount of a leash, for lack of a better term, at 12, 13, 14.
And she found a camp a block away with hammocks that she really liked in the shade. She was like, cool, I'm going to go take my book.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
And laid the book and read her book for hours. And
I'm going to come back and check in and
yep.
then go back out.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was great.
Did she make any playa friends?
Yes.
Beep.
But and then also like some people from Gate.
Oh, yeah.
She befriended some folks from Gate.
Yeah.
Like they went roller skating at the
Yeah.
roller disco together.
Some
like
adult humans?
yeah. I don't know if she made a ton of her age playa friends.
But we weren't exactly in Kidsville.
No.
Either. Like, there weren't a bunch around. The only kids her age around were box office kids.
Oh, and nobody wants to hang out with box office kids.
Well,
Except Beep.
That's where she met Beep. So
Right. You were talking about Kidsville. So I camped in Kidsville once. I would never do it again.
No, that was back when Tiny Human was tinier.
When she was 18 months, we camped in Kidsville. And I like Kidsville, and I think that they serve a really important purpose for some parents out at the burn.
Just not you, parent.
My kind of interaction at the burn, the kind of interaction that I like at the burn, is I like to sit on my front porch and have the world walk by, and sometimes like stumble in accidentally.
Totally.
Right?
Or-
like the
or
people,
intentionally.
Or intentionally. But the people who like stumble through your camp and they're like, I'm just trying to find that big rubber yellow duck that I was told was like somewhere around here. I don't even know. Do you know where it is? Do you have a drink? Can I have some oatmeal? Those people, those people who are just like random out of their heads. That's my kind of interaction. And the way that I experienced Kidsville at the time, at least, was that everyone avoided Kidsville like the plague. They were like, they don't want us to walk through if we're drunk. They don't want us to walk through if we're high. We have to respect. And again, for some parents, that's really good. That's what they want. They want that insulation from the rest of the Burning Man world. But that's not my kind of burn. So I felt super isolated when I
very
camped.
pasteurized Burning Man experience.
Yeah, I felt super isolated camping there because none of the kind of interaction that I wanted to have was happening around me. And it was like it was a huge plot of land, and like we were in the middle of like essentially it was a soccer field of nobody. So it was just like really lonely. And nothing was happening around us, and I couldn't really move because I had an 18-month-old. I couldn't really, pack up and
Can't
go
go
for an
far.
adventure.
Right.
Yeah, it was. I know it serves its purpose for a lot of parents, but it was not my kind of burn, and I would never do it again.
Are you at all concerned as Tiny Human approaches like the danger ages?
I think that the fact that you call it danger ages is really interesting because I don't have a danger age.
Yeah, no.
I don't think any age is danger.
No, there's danger people around
Absolutely.
people that age. But the age itself is not indicative of any more risky behavior or...
Not necessarily, but it's correlated with risky behavior. Late teens tend to take more risks. And
Sure.
Sure. The prefrontal cortex develops at a different rate than the hormones that tell you I can do the thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're large toddlers at this age, right? Like their prefrontal cortex hasn't caught up with the rest of their hormonal imbalance. That's what makes
and won't until their early 20s.
right.
Yeah.
But
Mid to late.
it depends on the person. I think that I think that it's a lot of nurture and a little nature. And I think that we have parented Tiny Human in a way that allows her to make mistakes while also making good choices about basic safety. And so, like, I mean, even this last time that we were at the burn, we were like, look, like, we have the capacity to shut this city down. We will close the gates, not just us, like the whole city closes if we say she's missing, which is the only city in the United States that does that ever in the history of ever, right? Like we close the city gates, and it's been done in the past. I'm sure you remember.
I have been on many of those radio calls.
Right. And so that there's a little bit of a fear of goddess, whatever you want to say, to put into her to say, like, if you don't check in at your hour when we say you should, we will shut the city down. And not only will we be upset at you, the entire city will be pissed off at you. But I see where you're going. And I think that, no, I'm not terribly concerned.
It's just going to be minor changes here and there incrementally as we get further along and she gets more freedom or
age appropriateness.
less freedom.
It's a topic I find really interesting. I've never had a desire to have kids,
I didn't either,
Me
to
either.
be perfectly frank.
but I've also always been really delighted seeing kids at the burn. I think it's such an incredible thing for kids to see. And I wish I had the chance to see something like that when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I like project myself into
Yeah.
what that would be to 10-year-old me.
Yeah.
To see not only the adults in your life, but other random adults playing.
Yeah.
Like, how amazing is that they get to see us play?
And what play looks like at adult scale.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. I think that we have done, as good a job as we can, and we continue to do with giving her the tools to make good choices. And as she ages, we have to trust that we've built those tools up as much as we can and understand that she either is going to make good choices or she's going to make risky choices and she's going to make mistakes and she's going to learn from them. And that's the only way. We can't teach her by making her mistakes for her.
Right.
She has to just make those mistakes. And if that means getting on a sketchy art car, accepting a drink that is questionable, and, we're going to do what we can to make sure that she is as safe as possible. But we can't prevent everything.
No.
And that's just
Nowhere
part
that
of
she is.
growing up.
Yeah.
Like, I had that same conversation with my mother when I was 18. Like, you can't make my decisions for me. You have to trust that you've raised
Done
me in
your
the way.
job as a parent. And,
Yeah.
and like, if there's parents at Burning Man who enact these fucking draconian measures
Exactly the word I was going to use.
on their kids of like, you have to be back by X time, no friends over after X time, no going out of the camp, no blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, so you're just basically saying you don't trust you've done a good enough job as a parent. Great. Then why did you bring your kid to Burning Man?
Yeah. And there also might be a time when she's like, I'm 17. I don't really want to go to your camp anymore. Like, I don't want to go to Burning Man with you anymore. Like, I'll
Right.
go with my friends. And like, we have to have that conversation when it comes up. But
And that'll be great because that'll mean that we'll be adults again.
yeah. Yeah, also just keep in mind that when we have Tiny Human there, it's usually for like a week of our 3 weeks that we spend out there. So we have
24, 25 days, yeah.
Yeah, we have a truncated bit where we're like parents out at Burning Man, and then we get to like fuck off at Burning Man.
During the fun times before and after.
It's the when we become the problem part that
Yep.
we're not parents during that part.
Right.
You know? She's not with us.
Right.
I think hypothetically, I'd have a lot more confidence in my kid at like 16, 17, taking them to Burning Man if they'd been to Burning Man several times
At least if
previously.
you-
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
There's just like I imagine taking a 16, 17-year-old kid cold to Burning
Would never.
Oh, God.
No.
Just
I mean,
sense fear of it.
Full grown adults go to Burning Man for the first time and lose their shit and don't like they they don't come home, right? They're just fuck off, and like that's what Burning Man does to them. So yeah, I
Showed them a
agree.
little taste of freedom, and they decide they're going to go chase that all the way to Thailand, and they just never come home.
I also think that because she's seen us in a work environment out there, like it's more than just, oh my God, we're going to go to party.
Oh, yeah.
It's-
She's seen how the sausage is made.
Right.
Yeah, and she likes it. Like, there's a reason she requests her laminate every year. It's not enough. I mean, it's an official gate laminate, but like, she doesn't have an official job with it.
Doesn't
She
get
can't
her
work.
anything. Doesn't
but-
give her like food access. Or anything. It's just
Yeah,
like,
it's just a laminate,
Alright.
but it makes her feel great, and she feels like she's part of the department. And she sees that it's more than just going and fucking off. It's like we can work hard, and that means that our playing hard is that much more fun. And with this group of people who've been through some of these similar experiences with us in the lanes or whatever, in the cafe, those shared trauma bonding experiences that we have.
in the dust.
Nothing trauma bonding like the graveyard shift at the cafe.
Being stuck out at the gate for 24 plus hours during a rainstorm
That'll do it.
with no meds and no food, and you can't come back in. We were not there.
Yeah.
But definitely some of our folks were there.
We had folks stuck at the gate because they were working the gate when the rain shut down traffic. And we're like, all right, we have people at the gate whose shift ends in half an hour. They've been there for 5.5 hours already. When can they come back in?
And they didn't get back
The
for over
answer
24
is,
hours.
nah.
Yeah.
When we can get traffic moving again, we're like, all right, there's got to be some vehicle we can send from the black hole to the gate
Nope.
No.
Nope. You can't
get
drive on
people
that.
their medication.
Can't do it.
Because
Nope.
they planned for 6 hours. And now we're at 9. And now we're at 10. And now we're at 12.
And it keeps going. when you wake up, the hours will have continued counting
Yeah.
up.
In the breaks of rain, we did have one truck that was just a solid 4x4, had solid off-road tires. They would creep at like just a little less than idle. They'd ride the clutch. And they creeped from the commissary all the way to the gate, and they took them food. And it took them an hour and a half to make the drive.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the rain picked up again.
And the rain picked up
And they couldn't-
twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had friends that were stuck in the line to get in. Oh. And I finally saw them like Friday.
I was gonna say 2 days later.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they were just like, we waited in line for like 23 hours and then they could have let us in earlier, but they decided not to. It was just like, dude, you think that they like wanted you to wait out there? Like, you think a second passed when it was safe to drive? They didn't let you drive on Playa?
This is one of those things about working gate is there are these two sort of camps, for lack of a better word. Mindsets where like, we even have it in our training, right? Because we have a gate training, right? So in training, they'll say, who here is here because fuck the man? And if people raise their hands, they're like, okay, so this is actually that's not that. This is not the department for that. We're here to say yes. We want to say yes. We want to say yes, come into the party. We want to say yes, bring your friends, bring your car, bring your RV, bring your fucking
that's literally
bus.
our job.
We're just going to scan your ticket. We're going to say, yes, you have no contraband. You have no fireworks, no firearms. You don't have a fucking dog with you that isn't licensed. Yes, come into the city. We want to say yes. That's our whole goal. And so this idea that like we wouldn't let people in during this rainstorm, our whole job is to say
is to
yes.
get them in.
It was one of those times where I realized like how big the divide between like me as a volunteer for Burning Man and my friends who 5, 6, 7 years ago we started our Burning Man experience together. Like the chasm is just deep and broad. Like, dude, what the fuck do you think we came out here 2 weeks ago to do?
We've been
doing?
Like,
we've been building this city
like
for
this is
ages.
we've thought about this
you.
party all year so we could build this party so you could come to this party.
Yes.
You guys,
And now that you're here, we're just going to not let you in?
it doesn't look good in
Your
there.
party is a great backdrop for my party.
It's really important
Hi,
to us
Instagram.
that your Burning Man experience starts on a high note, so we're going to wait for it to dry out. It's
Right.
for your own good.
Now, I will caveat that by saying, like, the other part of our department, which is Perimeter and Exodus, are not here to say yes. I mean, they're here to say yes in a different way. Perimeter is here to definitely, like, say no to some people, and that's unfortunate.
Yes, go the other way.
Yes, you are lost. You're right.
Yes, you are lost. Or, yes, you don't have a ticket. I'm very sorry you can't come in. Also, like, oh, you're moonwalkers. You've made it out to the fence. You probably want to turn. Doesn't that party city look good? You should turn. No, those mountains are very far away. You do not.
You are not going to make it if you keep
Sunrise
walking to
is
them.
not up on those mountains. No. Look at that.
No.
Look at that city. You want to go back there.
No, that one mason jar of water is not enough for you to get to the mountains and back.
The mason jar of water is not enough for you to take this obviously stolen bicycle and leave the event. We had that happen at the gate one time.
It's so cute that you guys think that mason jar has water in it.
It was
It's my hydrating vodka.
It was questionable. It was probably his pee, and he was also barefoot.
Could have been. Yeah.
But he was trying to leave the event. He was done. He had his pivotal moment at Burning Man, and he was like, I am done. I've learned everything I could from this event.
It was Sunday, the day after Man Burn. It was like
he was on a bicycle.
7:30 at night.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm going home. Where's home?
Virginia.
New York? Yeah, somewhere on the East
Virginia.
Coast.
Jesus.
We're like, we can't. We honestly,
I know in general what direction east is. Out the fuck my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, I'm sorry, we can't let you leave. I'm very sorry. That would be like you're gonna die, basically.
And so he got off the stolen art bike and walked back into the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We didn't tell him to leave the bike there.
Right. He knew it wasn't his.
He did know it was not his.
He didn't need it if he was going
He only
back to
had
the
it
city.
because he was
Correct.
trying to leave.
That's so fucking cruel.
And then, of course, Exodus is there to say, yes, you will pulse soon.
Yes. Exodus is
you will move.
Exodus is
You will get
hopefully there to say we will get you out of the city safely and without
It's the one
issue.
experience it's one of the many experiences I haven't had at Burning Man, but it's the one like main municipal
Exodus?
experience. Yeah, never done it. I've
Like never been through it.
No.
You've never had to exit with the general unwashed masses.
I have, but when I went as a participant, I would leave immediately after Man or
Oh, you were one of those.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
still part of Exodus.
Yeah, but there's no
Now.
way. There's no pulsing. There's just me
there is now.
and
Years now.
It's
Wow.
not an Exodus if you're not catching a sunburn through your windshield.
or partying with your new neighbors. Yeah, I mean,
Under the hood of their car that you're all holding up over your heads as shade.
and then push starting the next person up above you. You know, like
Otherwise, you can't move.
Until you're wandering desperately down the flag line, swearing you just passed a porta potty.
Yep.
Oh my God, yes.
And you see 3 RVs in a row, all of which you know are rented, and none of them are like, yeah, just use the bathroom here.
I mean, there's
You're not going to use it. You're driving to Reno, and you're going to drop it back off.
the very fact that there are portos on Exodus at this point.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a change,
Yeah.
right? Like there didn't used to be portos on Exodus. It used to be every
didn't
human
used to
for
be portos
themselves.
on
Hope you
Gate
have your
Road at
pee
all.
funnel.
I've only exodused a couple of times. I guess they were both in the post.
I love that
period.
that's a verb now. Exodus.
Yeah.
Exodus.
Exodus.
Oh, we verb all
Exodus.
sorts of nouns in the studio.
I love it. I love it. And then you know our flaggers too, right? It's part of the Exodus team, but the flaggers actually they get state trained
Yeah, they're
Oh, that's cool.
to do because they're
Nevada DOT certified
Nice.
to
Yeah.
flag in traffic because they're on a state highway. So they have to be certified by the state of Nevada to stand on the highway in traffic.
so bonus. Anybody wants to work as a Nevada state employee, come see Exodus and get trained in flagging. You get training for free. There was one time that it was one of the first times we had the bus only lane coming through the gate, the gate lane, right? And
How many buses come in?
a ton of buses.
Really?
All of the hippie buses. Every hippie bus you've ever seen, plus Burner Express. All of the buses.
And
Yeah.
Burner Express keeps coming and coming and coming
Burner
and
Express.
losing luggage and losing luggage and losing luggage.
Well, and now we know
Burner
why.
Express goes like 4 times a day.
Why is this conversation getting so hot?
It just keeps coming and coming.
Yeah, over and over again.
Stream after streaming stream.
Streaming too.
Stream after streaming stream of buses.
Big, thick buses.
Big, thick,
Ropey buses.
ropey, cream buses.
Big
Yeah.
buses.
Yep. Yep.
Hard buses.
So the one that I was going to talk about was wet, actually, and I'm not even joking.
Fabulous.
It was genuinely.
It was genuinely a moist bus.
It was. Shit,
I
you're not.
shit you not. And the person who was in charge of that lane came over to myself and Monster Drea and said, I want the two of you, like Spidey eyes, I want the two of you to go
toss
search
that bus.
this bus. I have a Spidey sense that there is something going on in this motherfucking hippie bus. The two of you, I feel like you are going to be the people, like, go find the stowaways, go find whatever it is, the plants, whatever. Go toss this bus.
Animals.
And
Motherfuckers sneaking plants in.
Just because
Oh,
it was too humid to.
Fucking every year.
No, I mean, it was
every
just-
year.
it's
So fucking stupid.
Every goddamn
why torture
year.
some plants in the desert.
Stop bringing plants to the
The
desert.
fuck is wrong
Dear
with
God.
It's ambiance.
Because you got to have your fucking fancy marbled leafed thing in your RV. For fuck's
I
sake.
want my pastos. I can't leave her. So yeah, so we go onto this bus. Like the people were off the bus. They were doing the ticket thing. Drea and I were on the bus. And this bus smelled moist. It smelled like old gym socks. Not the good kind of moist, right?
So it smelled like a lot of people's feet.
Oh my God, so many people's feet.
It was actually moist.
It was damp.
The surfaces in the
And-
bus were actually
and-
moist.
And,
Like there were a
Condensate.
lot of people breathing. In that
And like
bus.
they'd had a humidifier
and other
going.
things.
Oh, God.
And so, like, this is our job, right? We open up the container, all the storage areas. These buses and RVs and
Under
whatever,
the
they
beds,
have tons of
all the little
storage.
cubbies. Right.
So this is what we're doing. We're opening everything up and checking it and like putting our ungloved hands, which now even sounds so gross, like ungloved and unmasked hands into these things and trying to feel for body heat.
How did we not get more sick?
Oh my God. Because the desert.
It is pretty
and-
antiseptic.
And at some point, like we were like, you know what, this mattress looks suspicious. Let's jump on it. If there are people underneath it, we'll find out.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
So we literally were just like, let's go, and jumped hard. Like we tried to bring all of our tiny little like 130-pound bodies down on this mattress. No dice. We pick up the mattress and it was very soggy and gross.
Oh.
And there was nothing, like there was storage underneath it, but we didn't see anything. Like we felt around for body heat. We did the thing, nothing. We spent probably 40 minutes tossing this bus.
Yeah. I was working the
Sadly-
lane behind you.
Yeah.
I got to search 4 other cars during that time.
Yeah.
And then route them around the bus as
Yeah.
we scooted them
Yeah.
over in
Yeah.
traffic.
It's possible that there's
That's
no
their
way.
fault for having such a gross bus.
Yes, that's also yes. When people have overstuffed box trucks, we have to take extra time. I'm sorry, like we have to take the time to search your things. If you pack everything in Tetris-like, I'm real sorry. We're gonna have to unpack some of it.
D-lot.
Like,
That's what D-lot's for.
right, but yeah, we sadly this isn't a great ending. We didn't find anyone. There was nothing that we found. There were no plants.
Nothing.
There was just us
Soggy
two
patchouli mattress.
coming off of this bus, needing a shower in like the worst way.
Did you find any indicators as to why it was so damp?
Humans are gross.
Yeah.
Humans are gross.
Agreed.
We didn't-
Humans driving straight through from Reno and leaving Reno at like 10 a.m.
It was so
and
bad.
getting-
But Reno's pretty close.
Yeah.
Not when there's 15 of you in a bus with no windows open.
In a bus
Oh,
that
yeah,
doesn't
that's
do
gross.
over like 40. So the trip took like 4.5 hours.
That sucks.
It was definitely one of the grossest experiences, but also like one of the most fun and memorable.
Oh, yeah.
Even though there was no success at the end. Like
What's
no
under this
like
shit?
no big shot at the end from this moist stream after stream bus. But yeah.
Sometimes the bus shows up and it's already spent.
Right.
I feel like that was definitely what this was. Yeah. Expenditures happened.
Yeah, maybe that's just why the bus was vibing you so hard, as all those hippies had kept busy during that 4-hour drive.
I am not
Possible.
shocked at all by this concept. Yeah,
Completely
probably.
possible.
Probably. Also gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hippie
Like-
sex is gross.
No.
But they deserve
I
it.
just want to consent. I want to consent to be involved. Is my point.
You chose to toss that mattress.
We were told to toss that mattress.
Yeah.
I'm just
That
doing my
sucked.
job, man.
Well, that's no salad.
It's terrible. It was terrible. It was awful.
I kind of feel like the consent question gets really thorny after the actual sex act ends. Am I really responsible if you encounter the aftermath?
Yes, you are responsible for your leavings. They are your leavings.
Yeah, you're not responsible for cleaning up after yourself.
Well, look, if I throw my condom in the trash and then your
Yeah,
dog
I've been
eats it out of
meaning
the
to
trash, is that
talk
my
to
fault?
you about the kitchen.
So start it
Sure.
up. Start it up.
So we're like, hey, we want to go out to the burn. This was what, 2011, 2012 ish?
13. It wasn't unicorn year.
Yeah, so 13.
13.
Yeah, okay. We do our dating of years based on what the logo
Our
was
logo.
for date that year.
Yep. So 2012 was the 3 unicorns.
Right.
2013 was after that.
Yeah. And we're like, let's go out.
Let's go to Burning Man.
Let's go to Burning Man. Like it's like Wednesday of event week. Let's go to Burning Man. Who else wants to go? We're in the black hole.
And who can drive a car? Because we don't want to walk.
We don't want to walk. We're lazy fuckers. We just spent 6 hours in the dust working the lanes. We don't want to walk around.
Deadeye Dave was a manager. Is no longer with the department.
Was one of the shift leads.
Yep.
He's like,
I
I
can
got
do it.
keys. Mm-hmm. We're like, cool. Let's go.
Were we in the shit wagon?
It was the shit wagon.
Yep.
All the gate cars have fun names if you haven't caught onto that.
Sounds like the shit wagon's a real treat.
Shit wagon is a what?
It used to be a real
Four-door-
shitty shit. Like it used to be a Ford Escort station wagon, I think. Maybe.
No doors anymore.
Like in 1990.
no trunk or like boot door.
Don't need it.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
No, that's where we're sitting. We were sitting.
We were sitting there.
Boot.
Yeah. Facing out. And we literally just like drove around at like 3 miles an hour because that's what you do.
Right. And
When you're
Deadeye.
just driving around. Deadeye, straight edge Deadeye, stone cold sober Deadeye, decided he would heckle every
Everybody.
single person we came across
Everybody.
as we drove from the black hole all the way to Man and then past.
And then, yeah, we went in some keyholes.
We
We,
went
were
in,
in
like,
the, we were
little
in the
circles.
city. We were in the city.
We were also in the city, but we spent a bunch of time in the
Yeah.
Inner playa.
Just razzing.
Just
community.
So
razzing.
every person we would come up on, that I would lean out of the non-existent door
And yell.
and he'd go, hey, get in the car,
Get in the car.
get in the car.
Get in the car.
And some people would.
They would.
Yeah, I
And-
would love that to happen to me.
The
Right,
ride,
yeah.
the hop-ons, right? Where we were
Right.
talking about earlier, the hop-ons. You're gonna get some hop-ons.
Yeah.
And some people would be like,
Absolutely
very
would.
offended. There was
Some
one.
people would be like, "You're interrupting us. We were having a moment." I'm like,
Yeah.
Cool. Get in the car.
Get in the car.
Bring me a moment into the car.
Yeah.
There was
Get in the car.
there was one time that it was a couple, like a girl and a guy, they were walking, and she was like, okay, and her boyfriend was like, excuse me, where are you going? She was like, I'm in the car, they told me. There was one time that we rolled up on a couple literally having
sex.
in the middle of a keyhole, which
Classy.
is not a euphemism.
In the dirt. Yeah, this is like full prime moment of like, hey, get in the car.
That was the only time we changed the get in the car banner.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because we overheard him saying this dude who was almost fucking this girl in the middle of the street on the playa. We heard him saying like, we should get some protection, and she was like, no, it's okay, and we were like, no, get the condom.
Get in the condom. Get in the condom. Get in the condom. Get in the condom.
And then they got mad at us because we ruined their moment, and
Yep.
then like he had the wherewithal to be like,
It's like,
oh yeah,
shit,
this is a bad idea.
We should get a condom.
Yeah.
And
so we
she
got
still didn't
blamed.
think so. And so she literally chased him down, and we just
Yep.
drove alongside them as they were walking.
Yeah.
And
in the condom.
she was like still trying to stuff her hand down his pants. And, Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But yeah, we spent hours just playing get in the car.
hours. Literally hours.
Get in the car.
Nothing's real and it's all play when you're living in the Goblin way. And you're not really yourself, but you don't care.
Again, one of my favorite things is to sit on the front porch and let the world go by. And so we're often I literally call it front porching.
Yep.
We just pull our chairs out to the front porch. We find a shade spot and we just watch people go by. And the thing about the black hole is it's a really great amplifier. So you can be out on the street and having a conversation in whispers, and we can hear you all the way back in the bar, which people don't realize.
The shape of the shade structure just like funnels sound
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
the bar container.
It's fantastic.
So
But it
we
also-
should stop shit talking gate on the way to and from commissary.
Also, that thing with your intestines, you should get it checked out. But yeah, so
Turns out those were pipe cleaners.
don't put them up there. I've
Wrong
told
pipe.
you that 100
Shouldn't
times.
swallow them either, turns out.
Thought
No.
those kebabs were
Wrong pipe.
hairy.
Yeah, those weren't kebabs.
But yeah, so like we'll sit on the front porch and people will say like, "Oh, that's DPW. We shouldn't go in there. They don't like us." And we'll be like, "No, this is Gate. Come, everyone's
No,
welcome."
this is Gate. We don't like you.
No, I mean, we are some of the biggest proponents of like everyone is welcome in Gate. If you're a Sparkle Pony, I want you to saddle up to that bar. I want you to order your Sparkle Pony drink. You may not get it. You might get a
You might
dumpster
get
fire,
something else.
which is half Fireball whiskey and half Malort. That's a dumpster fire. Thank you very much. we made that drink up.
Yeah, I've had interactions with bartenders at Gate.
But like everyone is welcome at our bar. Everyone is welcome at our bar. Literally everyone, because not only do we want to not be yummy, but it's a recruitment tool. You
It
come
is.
and sit at our bar, you talk with us, you learn that we're not quite so scary as you think we are, and then you learn about what we do and the swag you get, which is kind of like our job now.
And then you want to come play in the dust and traffic with us.
Yeah.
You could not recruit me with Malort. Just saying.
Oh, no,
We're not trying to recruit you.
That's not a recruiting tool.
No, that's a punishment.
I thought I was
That's a
all on my
retention
toes
tool.
when I got into it with the bartender, and they were like, "Oh, I'll make you a drink," and I was like, "Just one ingredient." Like I see
That's
you,
valid.
I see you grabbing bottles, just one.
That's valid. That's valid. Unless
But yeah,
it's me.
that was the first time I had Malort.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
They got you. They got you.
That's
Yeah,
one
like,
ingredient.
there's gonna be
and
one
I
ingredient.
showed up to the
Make you
bar.
hate.
They accused me of not being staff. They accused me of not bringing them a gift, and I was just like, "Dude, I've been fucking working for weeks. Just give me a drink."
See, then
Like for fuck's sake, like how do I not look like staff?
When was this?
It's the underoos.
I'm
buddy.
gonna say like 2014, 2015.
Yep.
So it was like 8 or 9 days before the gates open, and obviously, like,
If you're there, you're staff.
yeah, I'm not gate, but obviously I'm supposed to be here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was the kind of environment that we fought really hard against when we were bar managers. Was everyone's welcome. Everyone could be a potential new gate volunteer.
We got some fun sparkle ponies from that.
We sure did.
We have at least one shift lead who we got as a sparkle pony wander in off the street into
Double
the
dip?
black hole. Into the black
Yeah.
hole. Who was like, "What are you guys doing?" Fucking rainbow, fucking spangles head to toe. Like,
Yeah. A crystal bindi.
yeah,
But and
I
she's
hate that
amazing.
more than anything.
She's amazing.
yeah.
There's an inherent tendency in any comfortable, awesome, dark bar to be a dive bar.
Yep.
And if you're a dive bar, you can't be welcoming. It's
Right.
just part of the equation of bars.
Right.
And I think that there's a healthy amount of like you have to have the chutzpah enough to walk into that dark bar with the red light, that says a staff drinking establishment above it. Like, but if you get past that, if you
just
if you're
walk in.
courageous
Yeah.
enough to get past that, fuck you. You're welcome with us. Let me get you a drink. Now, if you're an asshole, I'm going to pour you a Malort. But that
If you
I
walk
don't
in
agree
wearing,
that.
like-
I don't think I deserved it.
You
but I
did
don't
not
think I
deserve
deserve
it.
a lot
You
of
did not
things.
deserve it.
If you walk in with like 2 floozies on your arm and a fucking war bonnet, we're gonna have words to door,
We're gonna make you leave your war bonnet at the door.
which is what I did. I literally stopped a guy at the door. I'm like, hey, Mr. Tivas, could you leave your war bonnet outside?
And here's why.
We don't welcome your cultural appropriation here.
But that's,
And he stopped and he had no idea what to say. He had no clue. Like his friends let go of him and just walked around and came inside the bar.
Yep. That's fucking smart.
How would you know what to say? There's nothing to say then.
And he's like, I don't know what you mean.
he
he
genuinely didn't know. He didn't know.
have any fucking clue. And I was like, and I laid it out and I gave him like a full 2-minute talk about how that's not okay.
Let me just let you know how offensive what you're doing is.
Yes.
Basically.
And he didn't know. He had
And
no
he
idea.
didn't know. And when he left, he said, hey, do you guys have a trash can I can put this in?
know that it's a burn barrel though.
Yeah.
And he did. He threw it in the burn barrel.
Good.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man. That's
Yeah.
that is the absolute best possible outcome
Yeah.
of that.
May not be the preferable one, but it was the best one.
Well, you prefer for it not to happen at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we're apparently having to relitigate whether we teach kids that the Ku Klux Klan is morally bad.
Just because you think some things are oppression, man, doesn't mean that oppression is oppression anymore, all right? It makes me feel bad to think about the bad things we used to do, so let's just not.
Pretend those bad things weren't bad,
Thank you.
right?
It worked for our grandparents.
Yeah,
Yep.
1776 and all that shit. Not other numbers. We don't teach people other numbers.
Certainly not 19 or 16.
Thank you. So, that was Xander and Ginger Beer, wasn't it?
Smoothest transitions of any episode yet.
Hey, guess what?
God.
Cops are dicks. You guys remember like all those times that you dealt with cops and they were dicks?
Oh God, every fucking time.
It sucks. All of the good stories about cops on Playa are like, they gave me a sticker or they gave me a cup. And all of the bad stories on Playa are like, they just kept tasing that guy or that's when they stole all that luggage.
So I've heard a good cop story on Playa that was like, this person who I was not violating any laws with revealed a slight part of their humanity. I feel like that is a regular cop story out there. That's the good cop stories, is like, oh, human. And then the bad cop stories are anytime they actually have to interact with a cop when it comes to the law.
The thing about the cops out there is they're people out there. A bunch of people who end up in BLM, I think, just want a job outdoors, get to hang out in the national parks. And then a bunch of them are fucking cops. And that's never not a problem because all cops, you know the rest.
Yeah, it's never not a problem. If you wanted to stop being a problem, then you can quit being a cop.
It's so sad that like the baseline that we expect now is just like, oh, it was a good interaction with a cop. They were a person. Mm-hmm. They treated me like a human being of the same species.
They did not damage me because they could. That was our great interaction with cops. It's like, oh, thank God they chose not to damage us.
Yeah,
even though they could.
That's actually like my deep guilt with cops is that I've been in a handful of situations with cops that should, by all rights, have landed me in jail. And they haven't. And it's because I am a white male with good diction. And it's like the long and the short of it. Like, I've gotten out of a car rolling with pot smoke and walked up to a cop and said, oh, what was wrong? Oh, I didn't even see that. I couldn't turn right there. Sorry, I was just pulling in to get gas, and walked away.
Yeah, when I have to deal with cops, I am genial and baffled. Just no matter what they say, I'm just like, yeah, I couldn't. And they're like, well, do it. And I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, you guys
yeah,
don't
of
go with
course.
the crying tactic, which is where I quickly become overwhelmed and immediately cry. And then they're like,
would
this
work for me, yes, but they're already usually calling me boy or like asking me where I come from or what are your people. Pennsylvania state troopers treated me very poorly.
You are so swarthy for Pennsylvania.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you fail to pass in any direction.
Can't wait to go back there and just be real cheerful at people as they challenge me on my masks.
Yeah, man. Don't forget to pick me up some racism while you're out there. Like, I want that good old-fashioned East Coast stuff.
Yeah.
And some Scrabble.
Yay.
So the music in this episode is from that damned band.
The Damned Band.
You can find them on the internet with the link in the show notes.
Really can't wait to hear them play again in August. That Damned Band. Be out there. Some of you. For God's sake. If you would like to share your Burning Man stories with us, reach out to us at accuracythird@gmail.com or on one of our social media profiles. We're on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram. I think that's probably it for that.
I'm a poor follow, so hop on board. I'm either angry or inane, or this is a picture of my cat.
I retweet things and sometimes talk to Adam Johnson. Follow Adam Johnson online. Listen to Citations Needed podcast.
Do what you want.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
If you really want, find us on Patreon, Accuracy Third. You can get access to a bunch of our audio. You can support our continuing this project going forward. And if you really want to help us continue this project going forward, put it in other burners' ears. The more people that hear us, the more people that would be interested to share their stories with us. And that's how we make this podcast.
25 more $1 donations, and we can have a separate feed for our Patreon audio. So good job with all of you folks donating money for us to make this podcast. Thank you.
We closed the bar for the first time after we'd had the longest running staff bar on Playa. Mm-hmm. We opened the Black Hole Bar 2 days before the ghetto managed to get their stuff open. And we kept it open all the way through Wednesday post-event. So like 19 days straight, 24/7, all the time, fully open.
Running entirely on volunteer 4-hour shifts.
Baller.
People didn't get any credit for their
Yeah, the
shifts.
cafe taught you how to do that.
No, the
They get credit for cafe, though.
the cafe taught us that if they do it enough, they get a ticket.
We couldn't even promise that.
We couldn't even do that, yeah.
It was literally just
For the love of the game.
For the
Yeah.
love of the game.
Yeah.
And you get as many drinks as you want behind the bar, which is the same thing as if you're on the other side of the bar, you get as many drinks as you want. So,
Right.
Yeah, but you never have to wait in line for that drink.
That's a very true statement.
Right.
Yeah,
Also,
you get to be behind the bar.
Also, you could squirrel away like a bag of ice and nobody would really notice and put it in your personal
And the bartender
cooler.
was in charge of the music.
Yep.
Oh, see, all of this clocks together to a pretty strong benefits package.
Yes.
Yep.
That's,
I'll do
that's
a
how he built
4-hour
it.
set.
That's how he built it.
Yep.
You get to control the music. You get to turn people away if they're being assholes to you. You could probably squirrel a bag of ice away if you wanted to.
And we wouldn't notice
And we
intentionally.
wouldn't notice intentionally. Sure. And I mean, there were also times that, like, my cooler's really low. Can I just have a bag of ice? Yes, go.
Yeah, it's
go,
fine,
go.
go.
But yeah, so we had just closed it
Just
after.
wrapped and closed. Like, I think we worked the last 18 hours.
We sure did.
18 hours straight by ourselves.
We sure did. We sure did. And then it was sunrise that we'd closed. We'd closed the bar for the last time, for
We're
the
like,
first
all right,
time.
It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. Sun's going to come up soon. I think we're finally done. It's Wednesday morning post event.
That feels good.
We put the roll down, and we went up to the sky deck above the bar, and we were both so high on endorphins and literally nothing else. Literally nothing
Yeah.
else. It was we were completely sober.
Maybe some caffeine, but like not
Sure. Yeah, like Red Bull.
nothing else.
That like a ton of people actually came up and were like,
what are you?
what are you guys on? 'Cause do you have any
more?
more of it? Because we were just so excited that we
did it.
we did it. We said we would do it that year, and we did it.
Yep.
And then we watched the sunrise, and we like giggled and had our little like
Yeah.
body high moment of just endorphins. And then we went to
napped. And then we went and napped for a couple
Yeah.
hours.
That was definitely like a high point for us in
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
playa experiences.